What is up, everyone? This is the Digital Cypha Podcast. I am here with the Don CJG, who was missing last week, and today it's Diozel's turn to be missing. He is off to an event where people, get murdered, and the bouquets are being thrown to the next, maid of honor. I guess I don't know who it is. I don't pay attention, and then. Apparently they will become the next one who gets married. I don't know, but he's off to a celebration. One and two, become one.
Oh, what?
Again, this is the Digital Cypha Podcast. We are here talking about a little bit of some gaming news, what's going on that we saw, what's out there, what's in the limelight, what's not in the limelight. That's around the world, stuff like that. Just trying to pick, get some things out there. So Dio's not in, so we probably won't get some MMO news, but the Don CJG is here. He has a lot to talk about since he was missing last week. And I know. And we got some stuff.
It's been sad, man. I was like, I was ready all week. I was like, I'm waiting for Saturdays. I'm bursting at the seams to talk.
Yeah, and then you're laying in bed, you be like, no.
That's what it sounded like, honestly, man. Like, if you talked to me on last Monday or Tuesday, it was bad. I just didn't have a voice.
And you were still trying to play Halo? What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was still in party chat. It was bad. I should have rested, but
your voice got worse.
The grind continues, man. It started coming back like 2 days ago, so
okay.
I'm doing all right.
I was about to say we probably need to get Glink up in here to be like an interpreter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm sure he can tell you all the horrifying stories of my illness.
Oh my gosh. All right. So what's new? What's going on, sir? Since you got a whole lot to talk about to the audience out there, what's been going on?
Man, it was obviously having a week off work. I had a lot of spare time to play some games I hadn't actually got around to playing.
Okay.
So I ended up playing 2 games off the top of my head. I remember 12 Minutes and Artful Escape.
Mm-hmm.
One of which I found all right, and the other one I thought was absolute garbage. But
You did say you wanted to get into it, so you might as well.
Yeah. All right, I think we'll start with this. I probably have less to say about that. 12 Minutes, I remember seeing this reveal trailer, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Looked really cool, man. And, I didn't expect it to be a point-and-click game until, I just heard people talking. I was like, okay, cool. Went into it. It was all right. It was fun. An interesting little story there. Definitely took a turn in a direction I didn't expect. But, I don't. Have you played it, or you?
No, I haven't. I'm imagining like you're so ridiculously hyped at this point, and when you finally put the hands to the controller and you play, it's like, what the heck? Like, yo, what's happening? Like, that's what I'm picturing in my head.
It's you can get quite creative in that game with some of the things you can do. And I think there is some really obscure things you have to do to actually progress the story. So I can definitely see people getting stuck on certain parts. Because I know, sometimes you just bang your head against the wall. Like, what am I doing? But, I liked it, man. It was an interesting little story. Game wasn't particularly long,
Mm-hmm. Easy 1,000 achievements?
Yeah. If you, I think there's guides out there.
What?
The pilot will take you,
Is there a point to have the guides?
Yeah, I think there's certain achievements where I went back and mopped up what require specific endings. I think there's different endings in the game. So and there's certain things you have to do. But yeah, if you followed a guide and you want to get all achievements, it could take 2-3 hours. Done. So it's not too bad.
Oh,
but
wow.
I enjoyed it. I think if you got the time, definitely worth playing for a little bit, see if you like it.
And this is the Artful Escape.
That was 12 minutes.
Oh, okay. It's 12 minutes. Gotcha.
Yes.
Got you. So you cheated.
The Artful Escape is...
you cheated in the 12 minutes.
No, I played it, man. I went back and mopped up.
YouTube.
All right.
All right.
It's right. But yeah, Artful Escape, you know.
Wait. Before we get there, so 12 minutes. What did you like and what did you not like about the game?
You know, what I didn't like, I feel like it was a bit limited because you're only working in quite a small space, you know, so the story wasn't very in depth, or there wasn't really a lot of depth to what you were doing, you know. It was a lot of click here, you know, do this, like a combination of things, right? It was kind of like a checklist.
Okay.
Once you kind of figure out what you're doing, so it's like, okay, we do this before this happens, and this and this and this and this, and you get to the end goal or whatever, which is fine, you know. But I think people can get a bit bored of that because it's just clicking, because it's a point and click game, you know what I mean? That's what it.
But it's point and click with your game controller, not with keyboard and mouse, so it's probably a little
so
bit annoying.
you're literally just clicking like left stick and A.
Okay.
But I think, you know, it requires you to be a bit more intuitive and thoughtful about what you're doing, which is right. You know, I did like that aspect of it, even though the game itself is a bit kind of limited there in what you're doing. What I did like about it, it was an interesting story. Like, you know, when the game starts, you kind of throw into a situation like, what is going on? You know?
Okay.
And as you kind of start to peel back the layers, it gets really interesting. And I was like, okay, this is, you know, there's a lot of cool things going on there. And, you know, when you kind of learn, there's certain things you learn, you're like, oh, you know, so that was quite interesting to see that and experience that. But I would say some of the endings that you can get might be a bit confusing. It's like, what just happened? You know? But I think, you know, it's worth checking out for sure.
Okay. You think people would be pleased with the ending aspects of it? I know you said it's a bit confusing, but I know probably the confusion is based on the choices you've made, right? So it kind of would make sense, the ending that you would receive because of the choices, or did the choice
kind of, yeah. So a lot of your beginning choices kind of all gonna end up the same, but there's a few things you can do to kind of alter. I think there's 3 endings, right? 2 of them are kind of similar, and the other one's a bit more different.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't say like, you know, in each individual choice you make is gonna make a huge difference. It's probably not, but I think there's definitely a few key choices you make that will definitely influence how things turn out.
Gotcha. Okay. So the Artful Escape.
Man, Artful Escape. You know, I remember seeing this game. I don't remember when the first reveal of it was, but I remember seeing it. I was like, this looks quite cool. Visually, quite stunning, right? And it kind of took waves in the internet last week and a bit this week. People playing it and, you know, people liking it. So I thought, you know, I'll give it a shot. It's on Game Pass, right? No harm, no damage to their bank account. So I'll jump in. What I will say about the game, right? It's very visually stunning, but I haven't played a game to that length, right? I think the total length maybe like 3-4 hours, right? So it's another relatively short game. But for a game that's 3 or 4 hours, I had to play the game in like 1 hour chunks because I was just so bored.
Oh snap!
I was just, dude, it's just boring. I did not enjoy actually playing it. So I don't know how much you know about the game.
No, I just saw 2 people on a stage rocking it out, and colors are flying, and I think I was like, that might be kind of cool. And then next thing you know, I get a notification, Don CJG, Artful Escape. You know, I lost certain parts of my life playing this game, utter boredom, whatever, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So kind of the story of the game, right? So the story is a lot about like self-discovery. You're playing as this nephew of this famous folk singer, and you're like, this is me. This is my identity. You know, so you kind of trying to do a bit of like self-discovery, which is, you know, I think the story there is good and interesting, but how you kind of play a game is a bit not interesting, because all you're really doing, it's like a side-scroller platform with a bit of Simon Says in there. So you're kind of going left to right, jumping, holding X for most of the game, and you get to these kind of mini boss fights where you just do a game of Simon Says. You know,
Oh wow.
The game says click Y, right bumper, left bumper, and you just kind of mirror it and then progress onwards. And that's kind of the whole game. To be honest, the gameplay doesn't really get any more deep than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which was kind of upsetting, man, because, you know, I think there was untapped potential there. Like, the game visually impressive. You know, I can't deny that by any means. But just gameplay wise, it's bored out of my mind.
So if you were to rate the game, what rating would you give it?
Oh man, rating.
I'll go easy on you. Out of 5.
Out of 5, okay. If you're gonna say out of 10, this would get rough. Out of 5, I'd say like 2.5, 3.
What? That's pretty low.
Yeah, it's just no depth to it, man. I think, you know, if you're looking for a simple experience and you like rock music, you probably might enjoy it more. But for me, it's just, I just did not care for it. Did not care for it.
Did it have any form of character creation in the beginning? Like
No.
No.
So you play as Francis, right? And he's got this kind of bass look. And as you kind of progress through the story, you kind of get an opportunity to go through this like shopping mall and dress up your character and change how you look a bit. Okay. Which is the only one opportunity you get to change, pretty much.
Oh wow, dang.
So,
does it cost money to change?
No, there's literally no. There's no currency, there's nothing.
But there's no reason to change because they all look alike, I'm assuming. They have similar tastes.
You can definitely. The thing is, it's like maybe 7, depending on what piece of like it's clothing. There's maybe about 10 items you can choose from. You know, it's different hairstyles and colors and whatnot. You can change the color of the items, which is fine. So you can definitely make yourself look a bit more individual, but it's not too, I don't know, like Skyrim length, you know.
Okay. Was it any can you do any form of multiplayer on there?
No.
Okay, so it's single player. Gotcha. Yeah. Interesting. Wow. 2 out of 5.
As a visual experience, I'm sure people might like it, but it's just I didn't.
What age range would you say this would be for?
Oh, man. I think, you know, anyone above the age of probably 10 can play it, right? You know, if you want to read, you know, but the dialogue isn't particularly extensive. You know, it's just pretty basic conversation. I think the writing's a bit overdone. You know, it just no one would actually say any of these things. You know what I mean? Like, like no one's saying like radical. You know, it's just a bit weird. But you know, I think if someone's a little game to play and it's a bit different, and you like a kind of visual experience like that, might be worth checking out. But if you're looking for an actual game with depth of gameplay, it's just not the one.
And so, like, the controllers weren't really that interesting.
No, it's literally just left stick and hold X, pretty much.
What?
For most of the game, and then you just click a few random buttons every now and then.
Oh man, if I even had an inkling of like interest in the game, that's just like lost complete interest in it. Wow, wow. Well, there have been some news about Halo Master Chief Collection. What you got for us on that one? Because I know there was there's something that's coming up next week. But before then,
just a little something.
It was like they just sprinkled a little bit of salt on next week's festivities. But this week they had some probably like a little blog. Like a little blog or a little message or whatever. Like, what happened?
Usually Master Chief Collection gets a weekly dev blog, right? And it's usually a small forum post, not too long. But they kind of release the actual like lengthy full post blog, you know. It's interesting to see 'cause you don't really see that too often for a Master Chief Collection. And they're kind of talking about the future of the game now, because as we know, a little game called Halo Infinite's coming out in December, and Master Chief Collection's kind of been there. I don't want to say live service, but their live service game.
Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be. Yeah,
that's the best word I can kind of describe it.
It's live service. Yeah.
So yeah, Master Chief Collection, they finished off the Season 8 flight, which is kind of the beta test for the season. That'll be coming out fairly soon. No concrete date on that yet. But they've been doing like a seasonal model, right, for the last 2 years since they started PC support. All free, of course. And obviously now it's changing. Because, you know, you look at Master Chief Collection seasonal model now, and you look at Halo Infinite coming out, and you know you've got 100-tier Master Chief Collection season, right?
Dang.
That's what they're like right now, right? And you can get, I think, per week, 12 season points, and then you got the seasonal points, which is like maybe 20. So, you know, it's going to take you multiple weeks to get through that, right?
Yeah.
So what they're doing now, they're actually kind of scrapping the idea of seasons going forward, which kind of goes against the original plan
for Infinite, right?
For MCC.
Oh, for MCC. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, still keeping season for Infinite. But yeah, with MCC, they're kind of scrapping the idea of doing 10 seasons, which they kind of originally promised back in the day. But I think timeline-wise, you know, we're at a point now where it's just not really ideal, I suppose. You know, trying to support 2 live service games like that is just, you know, 2 full content models for seasons. It's just, you know, you're splitting your player base down the middle, right? Do you want to play your new Halo Infinite, or do you want to play your old MCC? So, you know, whilst they're getting rid of the seasonal model, you know, things are still coming, but they're just going to be in smaller packets, per se.
Right.
So you're not going to see this huge 3-month massive content drop.
I mean, I would hope that they would have utilized the Halo Master Chief Collection to push the multiplayer, right? I mean, out with the old, in with the new, and then just continue the seasonal thing from 8 to 9 to 10 to 11 to 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep building from there. The only thing that may not be in that Halo Master Chief Collection for a time would be the actual game, which would be Halo Infinite campaign. You know what I mean? Like, to me,
yeah, like one universal like platform, I guess.
I mean, yeah, like to continue the seasonal trend.
Yeah, I mean, it's always what I think, like, you know, we're keeping seasons within Infinite just because, you know, the model works, right? I think, you know, doing it for 2 games like that, right? I think you kind of splitting what the message you put across to the players, right? But doing these 2 models, which I think, you know, I don't know if you played MCC when it launched back in 2014.
Yeah, I played it, but I didn't get too involved because it was kind of like, you know, you had the different campaigns, right? 1, 2, 3, you know, so, and then you have multiplayer, but then everything that was going on with the technical aspects of playing the game multiplayer wise wasn't really you know, there. So you're kind of like, well, I already played 1, 2, and 3. This is basically a library holder for me right now. So as they update it, I'll just get whatever from there. The only thing I don't have, I think, is it Reach?
Reach and ODST, but I think ODST was free to everybody who played at launch.
Yeah, so
this is the thing. Like, you know, we look at what they've done with the game since launch. Right?
Yeah,
they've pulled it around. I think it's probably one of gaming's greatest redemption stories at this point. Because you know, I remember when MCC came out, I was ready for it. I was excited, and then came out and it was broken garbage. You know, and that hurts me to say about, you know, my favorite franchise, but you know, it's the truth. What it was. Yeah, for sure. and playing it. It was just waiting 20 minutes for a multiplayer match or disconnect, and it's just
Yeah. I
it
mean,
was
you're there, look, things spinning, and you're like, okay, I think at one point it was me, you, and we were just waiting for additional people to show up, right?
yeah.
When we first started, like, I was trying to get involved with you and Glink as far as our fire team, and it was just like, okay, we're waiting, and we're waiting. So I get it, but what does this mean for Infinite, though? This whole thing about MCC and this being their last season, what does that mean for Infinite?
I think for Infinite, I think it's gonna mean more hands on deck, and I think, especially looking at the feedback they provided from the last flight, right? They put out this big blog a while back, 2 weeks ago maybe, kind of addressing a lot of feedback points, and there's a lot of kind of contention around some points, right? And we've all know the stories of co-op and Forge not being at launch, and
Right.
some things that they want to change aren't gonna be there for launch. It's just not in their timeline at the minute, and I think it's probably wiser for them to kind of say, hey, MCC, your final season's done, we're still supporting you through 2022, but it's not in the same way. I think that's a smart choice. And then say, let's put more resources towards Infinite now. This is our main product now, right? This is our 10-year product, what we're supporting going forward. And I think put more resources into that to get things on the timeline, get the game back into shape, because we don't know what it's going to launch like at this point.
Right. You can only hope that it's better than the announcements and the trailers and the gameplays that we've experienced.
Yeah, I mean, from playing the last flight, I feel fairly confident
in the multiplayer.
For sure. Campaigns sort of. I mean, even from the E3 like fly up, like it looks better.
Yeah.
I have faith. I have faith, but I think I try not to get too beaten down over these things, like a lot of people.
Got you.
I spent a lot of time on Halo Waypoint for the last year or so. I'm always kind of gauging what people are saying. Trying to take part in a conversation. There's some people out there who just, especially when I feel like no matter what change or how adaptive EP44 can be to try, be flexible with people, it's just never enough.
So, what's your honest opinion of 343 as a studio working on the Halo franchise? It's been what, probably 3 to 5 years now that they've been working on stuff.
I think they took over shortly after Halo Reach, so it might be almost 9 years maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you'd asked me towards Halo 4 before Halo 5 came out, I'd be like, not really a huge fan back then. Understandably so, because Halo 4 was a bit not like it's a bad game, but at the time it's just so radically different to what we'd had before.
Yeah.
But I think looking back on hindsight now and playing it, it's not as bad as I remember it being. But I don't mind EP43. I think a lot of people are a bit critical of them, maybe too much. I think I look at it, they've got a lot of weight on their shoulders and a lot of expectation, right? Like they're holding up a big mantle.
You're right. They're the number one franchise for the Xbox.
Yeah, right.
I mean?
That's not something easy to hold up, and you're holding that, and then you got all these people barking at you, like, I want this from Halo, I want this from Halo. Why aren't you meeting my needs? Why have you changed this? This isn't Halo 3, this isn't Halo 2. Like, how do EP43 make Halo into their own game with their own identity and their own stamp on it without going too far across and saying people?
Wow. So in some other news that's been going on, THQ had an anniversary this week.
They got a sale on Xbox, man. I'm tempted.
80%.
SpongeBob, I want that game, bro.
Oh, bro.
It's on my wish list. Anyone's listening out there,
So in total, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In total, they had about 24 announced, or maybe games that showcase on their channel. Rat's Quest, Perish, Endling, some kind of Fox game, Airhead, One Hand Clapping, okay, and Townsman VR. Those games were showed in the intro trailer before the show began, kind of like where the clock is going down to the beginning. Destroy All Humans was a very interesting. Part 2 is what they announced, and that was a very interesting trailer. Very interesting. And then they showed Outcast 2. I think that's a third-person experience. Expedition Rome. When I think of Expedition Rome, I get the vibe of Wasteland meets Age of Empires. It's not that bad. It doesn't look that bad.
I have bad memories from that Wasteland 3 thing at Gamescom, and I was just like,
yo, Wasteland 3 is not bad of a game.
I'm sure it's not. I think just that trailer is too long, and I just have bad memories from seeing that for 48 minutes.
Okay. MX versus ATV. Superpower 3. Superpower is kind of weird because I don't know if you're operating, you're like a president or a dictator or a king or whatever, right, of a certain area.
All of the above.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if you pick or choose how you want to reign, but then you make decisions, you pacify countries and treaties and all this kind of stuff. So they kind of implemented that into the game. It's interesting. But I just need to see more, because I think almost everything was a CGI trailer. Elix 2, Jagged Alliance. That one is like an XCOM style game. And then how can I put it? The last on the list was SpongeBob. And I don't know, bro, like SpongeBob being at the end, I don't know. It's kind of like, when you save
greatest game of all time.
You save like Halo at the end of the Xbox, and you have like, you have God of War at the end of PlayStation, and then you have
grand finale title,
and then you have SpongeBob at the end of THQ, and I was like, what? I'm not, I've watched SpongeBob because kids and everything, but I don't find it that appealing, right?
Man, I love SpongeBob games back in the day.
I'd rather like Ren and Stimpy, that's my thing. SpongeBob, on the other hand, is cute. It's funny, but adult humor, whatever. So I guess I just grew out of that type of thing. But
yeah, I think for me, like playing the games back in the day and watching the show when I was a kid, like I'm so hyped. I saw the Battle for Bikini Bottom. Retails at $25. It's on sale for like £15. I'm like,
this guy. This guy.
This is tempting, dude. I have a bunch of. I could buy that on my Microsoft Rewards to get it for free right now. I'm so tempted.
So SpongeBob was a hero, huh?
Yeah, SpongeBob was a legend.
Oh, this guy.
Absolutely.
The co-creator for Sonic, Yugi Naka, I believe that's how you say his name. He officially left Square Enix, and he has created his own indie. Either he's a part of an indie studio or he created his own indie studio because of a disappointing release of Balan Wonderland.
What is that?
And that's why he left.
Yeah,
I've seen the game. I think I've played a little bit of it, but not enough to give a good description of it because I'm still trying to figure out, what is the other game? I'm still into what Dio calls a dragon game, a dragon quest, if you will. And then there's the other one where like you have the Disney characters. You have Disney, and then you have like this kid. It's Square Enix still. This kid with a giant key as a sword.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. I'm getting into that. Still trying to get into that. You know what I'm saying?
So what a game that was.
And then you have the Final Fantasy joint, where you have two kids running around collecting what's different Final Fantasy characters as like they're like it's like playing Pokemon but they're Final Fantasy characters. Yeah. It's weird, you know what I'm saying? So Balan Wonderland is kind of in my head they follow the same color theory. I'm not sure if it's the same strategy as far as fighting, and combat is concerned, but it's one of those types of games that if you've seen Final Fantasy, World, I think it's called World, I might be wrong, and you've played Dragon Quest and you've played Kingdom Hearts, that kind of fits the environment that you're getting into as far as the colorfulness, the world, how pretty the world is and things of that nature. So yeah, that was interesting what happened there. So I want to see what he comes up with because again, he kind of co-created Sonic. So what else could he make? You know what I'm saying? What else from his?
That's the question.
What else from his concept?
Anything is iconic? I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. People be at home, be like, if they only let me did this, Square Enix, you will pay. And he start sketching out some awesome stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you never know, man. You never know.
You never know.
And the last thing for me, is that Steam OS may be coming to PC.
Ooh.
The Steam OS 3 that is set to be released with the Steam Deck is going to be going toward it. I guess some form of it is going to be going to the PC, and I think it's going to be kind of cool because then they're cross-marketing their not just the OS, but the capability of your PC being in your hand by playing it on PC. I say
software and hardware.
So, for instance, honestly, I would love to see it on the Xbox too, right? But, but like imagine, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say hopeful. I would say possible, because there's already a relationship between Steam and Xbox as brands are concerned. Phil Spencer played the Steam Deck and he's like, "Yo, this is awesome," right? I think I don't know if I'm not sure what his name is, but the guy who came up with the Steam with Valve, the big guy.
Gabe Newell?
Yeah, that guy. I was gonna say Nolan. I was like, this is not,
yes, Christopher Nolan.
This is
founder
not exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying that he's looking at it from a hardware perspective, not from a software perspective. Mm-hmm. If we think about it, like all the software centric brands like Nintendo and Sega and PlayStation and Xbox and Google Stadia and Nvidia Shield is like, they're making their consoles, their streaming devices, but at the end of the day, what sells them is the software. And from the flip side, the Steam Deck is like, hey, here's our joint. Here's a hardware. Do whatever you want with it, right? So from that perspective, it's like, okay, it would be so cool to have the same OS on the Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Because then that's cross marketing where you know how you have the Halo Master Chief Collection and you have Halo 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine the same thing where you have the Steam Deck. Oh, it's not Steam Deck, but you have Steam OS as an app on
Okay, as an app, right?
You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking like you we overriding the Xbox OS and putting Steam on them. Like what?
I mean, if it has Bluetooth capabilities, I'll use it as a controller. You know, with touchscreen capability, that wipes the whole need to have a PlayStation controller for an Xbox, right? And try to finagle that. I'm just saying. So, but as an app, so you actually play games on the X and be like, yo, if it's like this on the X, I wonder what it's like on the Steam Deck. And then you go buy the Steam Deck and it's like cross experience. It's like it's no different except you're walking around playing Halo, playing, the other games. I was gonna say another game, but it was that one game that came out that we all jumped in and then realized that it was completely repetitive. The guys from Gears of War, the multiplayer. You know what it is. The one that you refuse to play.
I know it. I know what you're about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You see, so I'm not alone in this memory loss situation.
It's not Brutal Edge. Not Bleeding Edge. Is it?
No. You know when
that's what I had for Bleeding Edge. That's what I think.
It's the one where the guys you get stabbed by this crystal and then you become this god in the world. And you're able to, as you continue to fight, it's a shooting game. It's a shooter game with cover mechanics, pretty much. You, me, and Dio was playing it as a shoot. There we go. You see, that's how bad it is. That's how it was so bad to you that you refused to remember the name. Like I have an inkling of memory because it still has some form of substance to my heart. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, just Game Pass, those games that came on Game Pass, being able to put that onto Steam Deck will be so cool.
Right, yeah. To be fair, Xbox and Steam, have a dear relationship, and some of the stuff's on there, like, Halo Infinite's on there. I imagine that, Xbox moving, they're in the PC market now.
They've gone into the TV market, right there where Netflix is trying to be.
Literally, right? Putting the options out there is gonna be crazy, right? If all the Xbox games, I'm not saying they're all gonna be on Steam, but if a lot of major ones hit Steam, that'll be a huge play, right?
I know, yeah. And it's funny because I'm wondering, a lot of PC guys are not pretty cool with the Microsoft Store. So
yeah, it's true.
So to flip the switch, they communicate with Steam. And Steam basically says, okay, cool. Forza Horizon 5 sells so much on Steam. It's a 504. The one that we're playing. I think it's 5.
4 is the one we have now. 5
really?
Is one coming out.
Bro, these numbers are tripping me up, son. I'm like, yo.
Well, I think Halo dropped the numbers, bro.
Yo. I'm just saying, dude, like. So not Halo. So Horizon 5 is gonna be in Mexico. So and then I'm sure it's already in Steam somewhere. Like released.
I believe so.
I'm checking now. Actually.
Yeah, you bring a good point as well, man. Like you look at Halo Infinite being free to play as well. You got the console market there. You got you got all the Steam. You got the Windows Store people. It's crazy. Just thinking about the potential of these games now, when you put it on Steam as well, that's a huge amount of players that could be jumping into your game.
Horizon 5, yeah, and you have all packs too, pre-purchase. You have the 60, you have the 80.
I'm excited for Horizon 5, man.
And you have 100. I want to check and see something. So it's kind of weird. We talked about this. I think I talked about this on a solo stream, and then we kind of had Dio's probably his thoughts about this. But when I look at Horizon 5, they have the standard, deluxe, and premium.
Yes.
And let me get into it here. So the base game, that's all you're getting for the standard.
Yes.
And then the
on Game Pass as well, yeah.
Yeah, the deluxe, you get the car pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the premium, you get the welcome pack. I need to find out what the welcome pack is. You get the VIP membership. You got expansions 1 and expansions 2. Nowhere in there does it say you get additional 4K 60 texture, a next gen experience. It's like
cool, smart delivery though, right? That's what
yeah, exactly. I mean, even so, it would be so inhumane if you have something like smart delivery, but you're still charging extra.
You ought to imagine. Oh man.
I mean, like Xbox as a brand would be like so underneath so many feet right now. Like it would be
maybe not. That's what the competitors doing. So
I mean, so what is the welcome? I'm trying to find out what this welcome thing is. It's not
probably just like a starter pack, I'd imagine, right?
I would assume so. Yeah. Carlos Road to Mexico. Oh, they even have okay. Oh, that's all the updates so far. I'm about to say they have a roadmap already. What, bruh? I'm just saying that's interesting. But I just find it interesting that on the Xbox side, and by Xbox I also touch on PC. I do understand that PlayStation has games on PC on Steam and stuff like that, and that's cool. But you have games coming out this year going to both PC and Xbox, and you're getting the full experience for $60.
Mm-hmm.
And PlayStation as a brand announced that Horizon Forbidden West will be the last game, or maybe as of the date that they announced it, will be the last time that you would get a game for $60 with a free update. That's bad taste right there.
Yeah, well, it's just Sony's thing at this point, right? It's just I feel like they've said too many times they can't. They've said, they doubled down on this thing already, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for them now to kind of go back and be like, we're changing it. They have to.
Well, that's what they did. They went back. I mean, the community spoke loud and clear, and I give props. I give props. I know, right? I mean, it's kind of like if they had said all games, it would have been something different. I wonder what Sony would have said, but it was a good point. It was a good start off point for the gamers at the PlayStation side to really voice their opinion, because now they did what we did when Xbox did $180 for a year of right. Xbox Live. I mean,
that was ugly.
I mean, it is what it is. Call a spade. So it's much kudos, definitely, to the community. On the other side,
I think it's good, man. That they kind of put their voice out there, because I know some people who play PlayStation. The guy at work, he plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to him about Game Pass and all this smart delivery and all these games coming out, I don't pay anything additional for, and it's just like, man, and you're on PlayStation and you're paying £70 now for a game, whatever. It's just insane.
Here's the thing that really gets me, right, is that there are people, family members, who come at me and be like, yo, you should play on the PlayStation because I got this exclusive, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This was back in the day, actually, when I was suffering on the Xbox One. When I say suffering, I to the common person, who looks at the trends and be like, yo, you on that? Like, yo, PlayStation's better. I was like, cool, play on the PlayStation, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I mean, I have a PlayStation 4, so that's cool. But, at the end of the day, I'm still on the X. So, but the thing about it that I realized is kind of like, I don't get what's missing because I haven't experienced the PlayStation experience as an Xbox person. Like, even if I went over to PlayStation and I became a PlayStation gamer, I'm still not going to get that experience because I don't have that PlayStation history. You know what I mean? Yep. Like a PlayStation person comes over to Xbox, right? and then they won't get that Xbox history from the OG, right? But they will get the experience of the current games and the backlog of games and whatever Game Pass is. They would see what that is. For me, I would just experience multiplayer with PlayStation Plus. I would experience the exclusive games that I would beat and play once. That's what comes to my mind every time. So I think for me, it's not, I think gamers on both ends should show and tell without being toxic about it.
I mean, I agree, but that's possible.
It's
imagine a world where no one was toxic. Oh man.
No, I can't say. I mean, it's toxicity. My tight tongue there. It's inevitable, right? There's always gonna be that one person who's gonna be, the it factor. But at the end of the day, I have yet to get the Switch because I've been looking at a game from the perspective
Switch kitties, bro.
But I've been watching it from the perspective of somebody who plays the Switch. Adamant, not for, to me, my mind is telling me, I want an Xbox person to play the Switch and convince me that this is good. Because okay, that's it. But I want Glink to be streaming though. You know what I'm saying? I want Glink to be like on YouTube, like talking game. You know what I mean? Like, if like my stepson, he streams and he plays like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't encourage me to play it because there's nothing teaching me how to play the game. There's, it's just. You know what I'm saying? But if someone like me was playing the game and say, yo, this is crazy, this is how you do it, this is awesome, whatever, then I'm gonna be sold. The next thing is, me making it rain in GameStop or on Amazon or wherever because I've been convinced. And I think that's the thing. Is where you have both sides of the fence basically show and tell, like, this is what it is, this is how we play, because that's what's missing. If you, for instance, you remember Destiny 1 where was it Hawk Moon was it Hawk Moon or Hawkeye that was
Hawkmoon was the pistol exclusive to PlayStation. Okay,
right. I didn't miss a thing about it. You know why? Because it wasn't in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was in the it was like the Everstore. I don't know if I can say the right thing. Eververse. And it was rotating, like spinning there, like you could have this only if you was on PlayStation. But I'm on Xbox.
Or like if crossplay existed back then,
or crossplay and somebody's murking people.
That would be so mean. Horrible.
And it's kind of like, I have to go get a PlayStation. Why? Because a Hawk Moon is just nasty, son. It's like for $500, like, bro.
But that's the thing, it was like the best weapon in the game at the time, right? So.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing enticing me to look at another game on another console and say, I should do that. The only thing that's done it for me was like Final Fantasy 14 on the PlayStation 4 because I didn't understand PC on that level. I mean, right now, the game that you see being played is called Mirror 4, and that's a mobile game that is an MMO. And it's if you can, I mean, it's everything about it, like the UI and everything says mobile, but I'm playing this on PC. And I cheese the heck out of this game because there's this little circle that says auto, and when I click on it, the character automatically runs to wherever the enemy is and starts fighting. Like I can walk away, take a shower, make breakfast, come back. And then, I went from level 1 to level 7, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move forward. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just auto playing, sipping tea. I mean, I don't mean to be that guy, but I'm just saying, it's like there's some people out there who just likes watching themselves play without playing. And this is like one of those things where, you put the game on auto and then you throw it in your backpack. You walk to your next destination. you're 30 minutes to an hour early, you just take it off auto and you just continue playing. I mean, it sounds
This reminds me of the
weird.
Destiny loot cave, right? You're just sitting there pulling the trigger while you read on your phone.
I'm just saying though, I mean, some people think it's bad. Other people think it's, God's gift to gamers, to each their own. But it's a pretty cool game. It's a pretty cool game. Each of those buttons have keyboard key bindings to it. The only thing I was able to find was the spacebar. The spacebar actually, is a jump button, of course. So I have to play around with that and see what else I can do so I can actually play with my mouse and keyboard without having to depend on the auto feature. So story is pretty cool as well. The language is completely in Korean with subtitles in English, so that's cool.
Okay. I was gonna say,
yeah. So it's a cool game. It's a very cool game. It's different than what I expected when I downloaded it, but also on Steam for free. So definitely check it out. Don CJG, you got anything else?
Well, I do, Box.
What's up?
You know me. I'm an excitable guy, right?
Excitable guy.
I'm an excitable guy.
Yeah. English.
And, I'm a patient guy, but you know what I can't wait for, Box?
Oh, hold up. You are not patient.
I am the most patient guy you've ever.
Let me step up in Master Chief Collection. Everybody rocking DMRs, and I have a pistol because I can't find it. You're not gonna be patient with me, bro. You're gonna say, okay, follow me.
Sounds like your problem,
Yeah, it's gonna be your problem when I bring the team down. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Glink is gonna
funny
be
thing
like,
of Halo, Marks, because this Friday there's a certain event going on.
Okay, is this Friday like next week Friday or the Friday just passed?
This Friday coming up.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Coming up, second Halo Infinite flight. It's happening.
And this is the PvP one where you're actually playing against each other. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You cannot forget me, dude. You cannot forget me.
Hey, look. Hey, Mike's. I'm here.
You cannot.
It comes on a Friday. I finish work at 5. I'm gonna be sprinting home.
5.
Downloading.
What's that? 3? That's 5. So that's
5 would be 1 o'clock your time.
1 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means
so whenever I don't know when the flight goes live, but but yeah, it will be exciting, man.
If I take the day off, I should have some kudo time before you jump on and jump into the flight. Glink is gonna be on my time, so if he takes time off, well, no, he's gonna be in school though.
Potentially, yeah. I don't know what his Friday schedule like, but yeah, we will be playing. I don't know how long this flight is. I believe there is a blog coming out soon.
Okay.
I did see a tweet. What someone had said the week prior to the last flight, they'd released a blog, and they were saying, "I wonder if something similar is going to happen." And then one of the community managers from EP44 replied with a little eye emoji. He's like, "Oh." So I'm expecting a blog to probably come out on Monday, Tuesday. It's kind of talking about the flight before it goes live. And then obviously Friday we play for a couple of days. And, it's exciting, man. Like, I think this is gonna be the last one.
Okay.
To be honest, because I think everybody who signed up fully by the 13th gets invited, barring unless a million people signed up recently. But for the most part, once you get in.
Okay.
So it's gonna be 4u4 and 2u12. Big team battle, man.
Big team battle.
Gonna be good.
That's gonna be interesting. And you get
vehicles coming in.
Remember that trailer where it was a little foresty? Is that?
Yes.
There was a level on Halo 2. Was it called the Gulch, the Blood Gulch, or something like that?
That's what it's called in first Halo, yeah. But it's had a bunch of different names over the game.
So are we seeing like an evolution of that in Infinite?
Potentially, but I think they probably do something a bit different because I feel like while that map is a classic, it doesn't really play very well.
Please do tell.
Yeah.
Please do tell.
Oh, dude, that is like one of the maps I specifically hate so much.
What? The one where you have like two
bases on opposite
two
ends.
bases on opposite ends. Man, I love that one, man.
Oh, mate.
I love that one.
You know what it is, man?
What?
When you play a capture the flag and you've only got assault rifles and you're playing on this giant wide open map and it's just like it's the worst.
Exactly.
I can't do anything.
It's a matter of true skill and ability and teamwork.
You know what it is about it? It's the matter of who gets the sniper first, and it's guns everyone.
True, but then you have to finagle your way around the corners.
Right, there's no finagling
with a rocket launcher
in an open space.
With a rocket launcher. I'm just saying, unless you're the sniper who's trying to guard the rocket launcher by being there.
Yeah, I think the maps. Judging off of the last flight, map design has been pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they bring with this next one.
Okay.
It's the game's still just under. I think it's 2.5 months out at this point.
Okay.
So it's be the last one before then, and I'm excited to get my hands back on Infinite. It's been a long 2 months since I last played.
Awesome.
It's been a long 2 months, man. It's just and I'm thinking about it a lot recently. With MCC, I remember when I was a kid, I was playing Halo 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh gosh, there's a lot bark from the dog. When I was a kid, I was playing Halo 3, Reach and whatnot, and playing it again, 2020, 2021. It's a really nice experience to kind of go back to this game. What kind of started my childhood with gaming into like full fold. I played a few games on the PS2 before, but Halo 3 was the first online game I played. And playing it again now and having to say goodbye to it, when Infinite comes out, it's kind of sad. I can't lie. Like, it's kind of the game what made me. And, had to say goodbye for a second time.
Yeah. Say goodbye to your KD. He's over.
Dude, I remember I played the PvP in that last flight, and it went live at like 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
And it was rough.
It was rough.
Yeah, because I won in that flight with a lot of people in there were like OG Halo players. So, I'm playing against these hardcore guys at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm half asleep, and I'm like, I'm just getting rocked. I'm just getting bodied, man.
Dang.
I'm just getting bodied. But, with everybody being able to play for this next one, I feel like be a wider pool of skill. So I think I should probably have a smoother time playing. But I'm excited.
Awesome. Guys, this is it. This is the Digital Cypha Podcast. If you enjoy the show, definitely like and subscribe. We're here every Saturday at 10 a.m. or Don CJG. What time in the UK?
3 p.m.
3 p.m. Definitely leave some comments if you have any questions. Definitely try to respond throughout the week. And you have any, questions or suggestions, just let us know. We're up to making some adjustments so that we can, appeal to our customers. But definitely be safe, enjoy your weekend, and keep gaming, guys.
Peace.